In an interview with Irish Times, Sarah Eisenberg said with a heavy heart, "There's a big sense of unfulfillment and hopelessness with young people in their mid-20s in Ireland." Sarah is moving to New Zealand from Ireland before ultimately settling in Australia. Why would people feel hopeless in a country that recorded the highest GDP per capita in 2023? Yes, as of now, Ireland is the richest country in the world. But each year, thousands of young people in Ireland pack up their suitcases to move away. Are you wondering why? Keep watching us at BuzzCon to find out. In this video, we dive into the reasons behind people leaving the richest country in the world. The rest of the world sees Ireland as the land of beautiful landscapes and greenery. That might be true to some extent. When the Central Statistics Office of Ireland polled its citizens in 2021, 9 in 10 people reported that they were satisfied with their life. However, things aren't as rosy as they seem. 58.2% of the people polled in the survey said that they struggled to make ends meet. Following the economic boost after COVID-19, the Irish economy has seldom grown. Despite it being the richest country in the world, most people in Ireland cannot wait to move out. And as you probably anticipated, the economy is one of the major reasons driving Irish people out. The struggling economy has been proven by several statistics. The Economic and Social Research Institute has predicted that the domestic economy this year will further fall from 3.5% to 1.8%. The faltering economy, unemployment, health crisis, and inflation are pushing Irish youth to find greener pastures elsewhere. It's important to realize that the economy doesn't operate in a vacuum. There are several other factors directly affected by a struggling economy. If you enjoy learning about similar topics, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. To set down some historical context, it's important to first look at the history of Ireland. Migration and movement have been a part and parcel of Irish society throughout the years. In fact, the concept of migration is so common that Irish diaspora is a household name. This term usually refers to Irish immigrants settled in lands far and wide. People have been moving away from Ireland since its birth. This has been going on for multiple reasons. In the 6th century, Irish missionaries set out to spread their religion across the world. While in the 1840s, the Irish people were driven out by poverty and famine, these spurts of migration have continued throughout the 1990s. However, in recent years, there's been an exponential growth in the number of people moving out of Ireland. We're talking about thousands and thousands of people packing up their suitcases. This begs the question, why this sudden mass departure? A study carried out by Red Sea on behalf of the National Youth Council of Ireland concluded that more than 7 in 10 young people consider leaving Ireland for a better life. Now, this number indicates that 70% of people are unhappy with their current lives in Ireland. I mean, looking at these statistics, one realizes how bad the economy is. The term better life used here includes several factors. This could mean better jobs, better healthcare, better education, and a better social life. Let's consider this. If you were stranded in a country with no certainty of your life's quality improving, wouldn't you want to move out? We all know the answer, and so do Irish people. From January 2023 to April 2023, over 64,000 Irish people packed their suitcases and moved abroad with a one-way ticket on them. More than half of this population are young people aged between 25 and 44. Most popular destinations for these people are Canada, the UK, and the USA. Now, we all know that immigration isn't easy. The paperwork and visa appointments alone require a considerable amount of time and effort. Why is it that thousands of people are willing to put in this much effort to exit the richest country in the world? Well, the problems are much bigger than just a poor economy. A young individual interviewed about the prospects of staying in Ireland said, "I fear that if I stay, I'll be living to work. I fear that I'll spend my wages on rent and bills, leaving myself with very little disposable income, let alone any money to put aside for future investments." This statement captures the sentiments of many youngsters in Ireland. In recent years, Dublin has succeeded Rome and Paris in hiking up the rent prices. It's hard to believe, but renting out a room in Paris or Rome is cheaper than living in Ireland. Owning one's home, which was a prerequisite for a decent life at one point, has become a luxury. Young people in Ireland find themselves in an increasingly tighter financial situation than their parents. Many young people in Ireland express that their elders have left the country much worse for them. It's also interesting that the overall birth rate in the country has declined. This is because most young people tend to settle down before planning children. With the constantly increasing cost of living, settling down has been reduced to a dream for many. And by the way, do you know how much diapers cost? It is insane. Moving on, the insecurity among Irish people is further exacerbated by the increasing rate of tenant evictions. Renters have next to zero protection in Ireland. The increasing housing process is causing investment funds and property owners to sell and maximize profits. The property owners evict tenants as soon as someone makes an attractive offer to buy their property. Although this benefits the property owners, it has become impossible for people to find secure tenancy options. Since most young people are unable to afford buying a house of their own, and finding a secure tenancy arrangement has become extremely difficult, result, moving out becomes the only viable option. It's also important to talk about the funding required to buy a house. We all know that millennials today don't have jobs that pay enough to cover the deposit for a house. It's further made difficult for millennials to own houses due to limiting rules and regulations in place. I mean, nothing is working out in the favor of millennials at this point. For example, the Irish Central Bank has made it mandatory for first-time buyers to put a down payment worth 10% of the property's market value. Moreover, prospective homeowners are further limited by loan-to-income restrictions. These provisions limit the amount of money first-time buyers can borrow from the bank. If all this wasn't enough, rent prices have approximately doubled since 2013. The number of young people having their own homes dropped from 60 to 27% in this period. With the odds stacked against their favor, young people prefer moving to countries that facilitate them, which seems like an obvious solution at this point. For most young people, living in Ireland means being glued to their office desk without any hope of tangible rewards. Apart from skyrocketing housing expenses, the employment opportunities are also bleak. Yeah, I'm sure you're finding it difficult to admire Ireland's landscapes now. In September 2023, the number of professional vacancies in Ireland declined by 37.7%. There's also been a rapid decrease in the number of job seekers. This is mainly due to a large number of people moving out of Ireland in search of better employment opportunities. In short, employment opportunities are scarce. The vacancies that are there don't pay enough to lead a decent life. Naturally, the lack of employment opportunities and inadequate housing facilities are contributing to health problems. Children in Ireland face mental health challenges as cramped-up spaces contribute little to their mental and physical development. Most children are being raised by exhausted adults while living in hand-to-mouth situations. Their parents are too preoccupied with managing to put food on the table than to pay attention to their child's well-being. Despite being the richest country in the world, Ireland's healthcare system ranked 80th in the world. Yeah, that's pretty low. Countries such as Iran and Kenya ranked above Ireland. A huge chunk of the Irish population suffers from respiratory diseases and obesity. This causes overcrowding in hospitals with an acute shortage of resources and staff. In 2009, the economic crisis drastically drove away young people from Ireland. However, even when the economy stabilized, people continued to migrate from Ireland. Could there be more reasons apart from a crashing economy? In fact, data gathered by the Central Statistics Office in 2020 show that the number of young people feeling downhearted and depressed had doubled over the past 2 years. This is extremely sad. Also, another study conducted by the University College Dublin showed that out of 720 participants, 125 reported suicidal intent, and 45.7% confessed to suicidal ideation. These figures are shocking, but not surprising. Young individuals who are constantly working themselves to the bone to achieve the bare minimum standard of living have little to no time to focus on their own well-being. Mental health struggles of people residing in Ireland are further worsened by a lack of social life. Most young people suffer from loneliness, anxiety, and depression. It's hard to believe that a country which is famous for its beautiful landscapes harbors such loneliness. The Irish youth also complain about the lack of avenues for social life in the country. In an interview, 24-year-old Thomas Lenihan, who had decided to make the move to London, said, "If I was working in my hometown of Tralee, I just feel like I would be working in a prison, because you would just be working and going home and there would be nothing in between. Having a work-life balance and taking out time for yourself is extremely important." He further said that 20 of his friends had moved out of Ireland in the past year alone, and that the others were dying to move out. The majority of Irish people may also be inspired by their friends and close ones to take the plunge to move out. But which reasons among those discussed in this video do you think is the main driver of Irish people moving out? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can receive notifications about our updates. The extent of mass movement from Ireland can pretty much be concluded with this interview of Elaine Whelan. Elaine is another former resident of Ireland. In an interview, she said that whatever parties she'd been to recently, a banner of Bon Voyage Best Luck would almost always be there. It's bittersweet, but also empowering that so many Irish people are choosing a better path for themselves.